Radio.
All right, Marcus.
With Les Jackson. Yes, I am Les Jackson, your host tonight. We are back. It's Tuesday. Got through all the football weekend, did our thing, enjoyed our sports, sat back and watched so many games we just became footballed out. But that's the way it goes this time of year. Sitting back, I want to start off by saying happy birthday to all my friends on Facebook, Twitter, blogtalkradio.com. We got Sulaiman The WordSmith sitting back in the bullpen warming up. He's going to be bringing us the latest project and talking about what he's doing right now and the information he's found out for all you musicians that are out there listening, for all of the ones that are going to be up-and-coming artists. He has some things that you need to know that he's going to share with us coming up in about 2 minutes. I want to sit back, want to say hi to all my friends on Facebook, especially to the train station group, train station add me. Want to say hi to Benny. Want to say hi down there to Becky, to Pam, to everybody that's sitting back under the sound of the voice right now. Shannon, Shay, Miss Ty Bosses, everybody want to say hello to you. We're going to sit back. We're going to get this thing going right now without further ado, because I know he has to get out of here because he has a heavy schedule. I'm coming on right now with Sulaiman The WordSmith. Good evening. How you doing, brother?
Good afternoon. How you doing, Brother Jackson?
I'm doing fantastic. Hey, talk to me, man. Tell me what's going on. What's the newest thing? I know you were running on me some stuff about music, and I know you have a lot to share, and we got a little time to share it. So let's go ahead and do it and make it happen. The floor is yours. Go ahead and do your thing.
Well, first and foremost, always working on music, working on an upcoming album. Also working on some behind-the-scenes things with music. It's great to be an artist. It's great to express yourself, but we also have to be concerned about the business of music, because at the end of the day, if it's not a business, then we'll find ourselves with our bellies aching and looking for a means to support ourselves. So what I've been doing is working on two things. One is a book, an upcoming book called The Art and Science of Digital Music Distribution. What that deals with is, in order for artists to take advantage of free advertising, we have to learn about a thing called, and what metadata is information that gets embedded inside of an audio file, such as a MP3 file, such as a CD file, and that metadata has information in it that gets displayed. It's information like the artist name, the song title, the album title, and very important royalty tracking numbers like the ISRC, International Sound Recording Code. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So it goes a little bit deeper, but it's easy for artists to take advantage of it. There's even free advertising software, free software out there that you can use to do things like customize your MP3 files, make customized CDs, and etc. So that's a very important part of the music industry, and it ties into the business part of it, which helps to make sure that the artists get the recognition and hopefully monies that the artist deserves.
Because a lot of artists have been getting ripped off. A lot of artists have not been getting their just due. Do you have one of those websites that you can tell us about that you might be able to refer people to right now?
There is, and please don't, if I make a mistake with the domain name, if I remember correctly, it's id3.org, id3.org, or you can just Google audio ID3, and those are metadata standards that basically list the different things that you get the codes for to input into your song, and you use it with free software like LAME. LAME is basically it's command line software, which means like the old DOS commands that you type in, and you tell this program to make an MP3 file from a WAV file. So basically what happens is that after the artist has produced the track, it's in a WAV format. You basically export it from Pro Tools or Cakewalk or whatever you're using into a WAV file, and then you run this command, which is free software. It's called LAME. Same software, the big guys like Amazon and eMusic, they're using the same thing. So you run this command, and it can do a bunch of things for your MP3 file, and then you could open up in some type of other program like Kid 3, which is a graphical program, which you can make any other adjustments that you might want to do. So it's lots of free software out there, and it's all there for artists to get and use. And what the book does is it puts it there for you in a very short. What the book is going to do once it's published, actually, is it's going to put it together in very short form, easy to understand form that artists can use to just go for it.
Now let me ask you, how far are we away from getting the book? How far out are we on the book? And is there anything that people can do to help you?
I'm getting ready to go into the fundraiser mode, which means I'll have a link on Indiegogo.com, and there'll be a campaign in which people can actually make contributions to, and that way the book can get published. And one of the reasons why I'm going to the fundraiser project is one thing to have a book or a song or a video, but it's another thing to have the product and then have the means to advertise it. I'm not going through some of the big publishing houses or well-known publishing houses, so I'm going to do this all on my own. But in order to do it the way it really needs to be done, I need to get advertising money. And that's what one of the things that the fundraiser is going to do, aside from the printing, is going to cover the advertising cost, which is going to be very expensive to get out there and put it in front of enough artists so they'll say, okay, we've got this resource, and everybody or enough people know about it for it to be well known.
Okay, good. So you're going into the fundraising mode. That'll be starting up very soon. Make sure that you get out there. I want everybody to get out there, support Sulaiman The WordSmith. Great material that he works on, great stuff that he does, that's for sure. What other projects? I know you're doing some behind-the-scenes stuff. I know you've been doing a lot of taping. and doing some film-making stuff. Talk to me. Tell me what are you getting into?
Well, my love is music, but the full spectrum of the music industry, the approach of getting your music out there, it involves videoing. And when you get into having a video, that can be very expensive. So a person needs to learn about, photography, about videography, and that's what I've done. From purchasing the equipment to, getting some formal education or informal education, and, going out there and actually making videos. I did what's called a guerrilla video, in which I went downtown Detroit, Campus Martius, and I met some wonderful ladies named Nisi and Arnisha, and we just did a guerrilla-style interview, and they listened to one of my releases called The Day, and they told me what they think of it, and, the ups and downs of how they like it and so forth, and I put it up on YouTube, and people say they like the video. So that's one approach to learning about doing videography, just going out there and doing it, and purchasing the equipment, learning what the different cameras do, what the different lens sizes are, how to stream videos, et cetera, et cetera. Another thing I'm working on is a database of radio stations, literally going to the radio station websites and collecting not just their URL, but their company name, their FCC call sign, their contact information, and that way you don't always have to rely on publishers to do publishing. You can do it yourself, but you got to be out. You got to be willing to call the stations afterwards. You can't just send them an email and and think they're going to just listen to every email they get, because they don't. You got to call them and make contact. So that's what I've been doing.
I like that. And I can see it. I can see the busyness. And one thing I always say about the thoroughness that you present and how dedicated you are to the cause of making sure that artists get their just due. Now, let me ask you one question. What made you get so heavily involved in making sure artists got their just due?
Well, I was in New York at the time, and I was very busy with some family matters and working on music at the same time. And I just sat back and I said, you know what, I got a little bit of downtime as well. What can I do to further myself in the music industry? What can I do to make sure that artists coming up behind me and around me have access to resources? And so I said, you know what? I've got a very good brain. I've got a lot of experience in computers. Let me take some of that programming experience and see what the music industry has to do with the programming aspect. And that opened up the whole can. And I said, I got to present this to people so that other people can learn from it. So, when I'm out and about and I see artists out there passing out CDs, and the CD's got some magic marker on it, I still listen to it, but I still can't figure out who it was from because they did not put the metadata inside of the CD. So seeing those things and having a little bit of time to work on the book, that was the motive to actually writing the book. And now that it's in a completed manuscript form and ready to get printed and advertised, it's just a matter of taking, what artists do, which is taken from our heart, from the heart, and putting it out there so people can share it and use it.
I like that. I want to say real quick hi to Dolores Harris, great vocalist here from the Detroit area. She's sitting back listening in as she gets ready to step on stage and do her thing tonight. I see that she's checking us out. Also, I want to throw a big shout-out to the University of Michigan Dearborn Yard Show. It's going down right now. They are out there in the masses. They are doing their thing, having big fun. If you can, go on out there to Dearborn. They're right there off of Evergreen. You know where the U of M Dearborn campus is, Evergreen, right there past Michigan Avenue. Go out there and give them some support, show them some love. Want to give a big shout-out to Dr. Tony Williams out there in Grand Rapids, also to Irvin, Delano Howard Jr., my boy, we were sitting back hanging this weekend, and all of us got together because every now and then the doctor will come down into the city, and we're able to sit back and we all get together for our annual cookout and annual meet, greet, and eat festival. So we had a good time over the weekend. I want to say thanks to everybody that participated and were there with us, because there's a bunch of us, a small group of us that get together. And people from all walks of life, all professions come together, and we sit back and we just do our thing. I want to sit back and give a big shout-out to them. Back to you, Solomon. Let me ask you this, because, you know, the day, and people have heard it. I'm going to play it again before the night is out. And I know you got to get out of here in a minute because you have an engagement. In the matter of fact, in a few minutes, you've got an engagement coming up. Let me ask you, because you were talking about something about rights. How hard is it for an artist to actually get copyrights? Is it a difficult process? What's the process?
It's actually very easy to get to register your copyright. In actuality, once a project is created, it's printed, it's recorded, however you do it, it's your copyright intellectual property. The concern is if you have to enforce your copyrights, how do you go about doing so? According to the United States Code, the law, United States law, you can't go to the U.S. courts with a poor man's copyright, which is to basically mail your copyright back to you. They won't accept it alone by itself. So you have to, in the United States, you have to go to the Copyright Office and register your work. And you can go to copyright.gov and do that. You can fill out the paperwork and mail it in, whichever one you prefer. So that's the process. The process starts with one concept and then the actual recording or documenting of your project, and then actually registering your project for copyright, so that if you have to enforce your copyrights, you can have access to the United States courts or whatever courts around the world that you need to go through. So that's the process. It comes from the heart, and then it's just a paper trail after that.
Okay, so they no longer take the, as we used to say, the poor man copyright, where you used to mail back the information to yourself and get that stamp on there. I don't know if you know anything about that, but back in the day, there was what we called the poor man copyright, and we would sit back and you could mail a song to yourself, and it would be considered, you just said that it wasn't represented anymore. It's harder to represent that now in the court of law, and they don't barely accept it.
Well, I'll say two things about that. According to the documentation that I read, they don't have to accept it. There are artists that do a combination of those things. Now artists are recording themselves in the studio. They are doing the poor man's copyright, and they're doing the copyright registration. So,
okay,
the thing about the copyright registration is that is what the court requires for you to go to a court with an argument. Now, there's nothing that says that you can't bring the other material to the court at the same time. And it would be very interesting to actually go into a court and watch somebody arguing out a copyright. I know it's done every day, and I've heard of cases won and lost. What they present, maybe we should go to a U.S. court one day and just see what happens if somebody comes in with the poor man's copyright by itself. Will it be accepted? It's up to the judge. So I think that there are, at the same time, a lot of intelligent artists and people with the artists that recognize that we need to do everything we can to protect our commercial interests, which is to record themselves in the studio with the camera. The certified mail, you get the green card and don't open it unless you're in the courtroom. You hand it to a judge and let the judge open it up. and then you got the registration. So if you got all those things, it seems that you would have all your ducks in order, and then you got to see what the opposition has. I'm hearing of a story of Lil Wayne, or I can't say Lil Wayne, but I'll just say an artist out there that sued Mary J. Blige and some other artists. And what wound up happening was that Mary J. won the argument, and the lyrics were not in question. The instrumentation was in question. And what they said was that, okay, this person has all the documentation, but there's nothing that says that the other artists, could not have independently came up with the instrumentation on their own. How they argued that out, I don't know. But, it's just another way of saying you got to make sure you document everything and who you know. So
there you go. There's another case, matter of fact, that just popped up, I think last week or in the last couple of weeks, where you can hear one artist. Matter of fact, I'm not going to mention the name, and it's a popular song that everybody's been singing, but the music actually came from another artist's song. It's not that difficult to distinguish between the two, but yet there is a little difference, and that's what they're going to be arguing in court. I don't want to get off I'm not going to get into the name of the artist. I know everybody probably heard about it, and like I said, it's a very popular song. Matter of fact, song that came out last year that everybody's still dancing to. So that's all I really need to say about that. I know you got to get out of here in about 8 minutes, so I'm not even going to hold you up. I want to thank you so much for sharing all that information with us, because it's very informative. I've got to have you on. We're going to do a show. We're going to do a 1 hour show when we get some time. We'll do a 1 hour show where we can just get you on here and just really probe deeper and deeper into this thing. And I want to thank you so much for being a part of the show tonight.
Oh, I appreciate it very much.
There you go, because I know, like I said, I know you said you might be able to stay a little longer, but I want you to make sure that you get there on time, because I'm a stickler on time. And I know that you probably are too, and so I don't like to hold anybody up. That's why we tried to get you in here immediately, opposed to getting off into this second segment that we're going to get off into in just a minute. But I want to thank you so much for coming on, man. Go on and get out of here, man. Go do your thing, do what you got to do, and we're going to talk to you next week or later this week, and we'll set up something for next week.
Peace out, brother. Have a good one.
All right. Peace, bro. All right. And that was Sulaiman The WordSmith.